Sully. Unpopular opinion time. Alright, you beautiful damn people, you. This video is bound to trigger somebody, so let's dive headfirst into it. Devil's Ruin is a brand new exotic sidearm that just launched only a week ago. At first glance, it seems pretty cool. Given that sidearms are the new and improved thing this season, it's nice to finally see a new weapon class get some love and affection. But if we're being honest, is this thing even really all that good? So let's take a look. If you're watching this, that was probably your plan originally, I'd imagine, so stat time. Devil's Ruin has an impact of 49, a range of 64, stability at 68, a handling at 45, a reload speed at 24, and a base aim assist of 56. It has a 15-round magazine and an underbarrel fusion rifle with a 1000 millisecond charge time, so it can be classified as a high-impact blast. Seems cool, right? Well, I'm actually not convinced just yet. I have many issues with this weapon, mostly the fact that it, by itself, isn't really anything special. At 300 RPM, it can send rounds downrange rather quickly, which means if you can aim, you can deal decent damage. It will 2/3 tap most minor targets that you'll encounter out in the shared world, but that's about as special as it gets. The base reload speed is absolutely abysmal. I know most sidearms have a mid to low tier load speed, but Jesus, this one sucks. There are ways to buff that, but man is it terrible. It's pretty simple. The more time you spend reloading, the less time you spend dealing damage, and your overall output drops. It might not seem like much, but it does add up. I know I'm saying all of this as I am literally wrecking an ogre, but just hear me out for a second. The underbarrel fusion rifle is honestly the saving grace of this undeniably mediocre gun. Now this thing can clap some cheeks, but the charge time is honestly kind of what sort of sets it back in the same sense. Fusion rifles belong to a very odd class of guns in Destiny, and by that I mean that they don't really get a lot of use. It's a very opinionated topic, but to me, I need weapons that can fire quickly, and if they aren't firing quickly, the damage needs to be holy fuck all. It's exceedingly handy to have a fusion rifle on a sidearm, but I'm not quite sure if it deals enough damage for the charge time that it has. The fact that it operates on a separate magazine that autofills as soon as you hold down the trigger, regardless of how many rounds remain in the initial mag, triggers me a little bit too. It could very quickly become yet another Crucible gimmick, and for fuck's sake, we don't need any more of those. And yes, before anybody asks, I am talking about the Arbalist or the damn one-eyed mask. I hate both of those things. Those are some of the more negative points, however. There are also a bunch of positive things that I think Bungie did right with this gun. The first of those being the fact that it loads kinetic ammunition, which is literally everywhere. Mid-tier damage can be worked around if you aren't scrounging for ammo every minute and a half. The fusion rifle will load an entirely new magazine and burn through the whole thing, so if you're constantly spamming the underbarrel, one would find themselves low on ammo nearly all the time, but thanks to some smart design on Bungie's side, thankfully we don't have to deal with that. The second big selling point for me was the fact that the underbarrel is the god of clearing small crowds and staggering unstoppable champions. I still wouldn't necessarily recommend taking this anywhere for any reason at all whatsoever, but the potential for it to be something that actually can work is definitely there. It's likely that I just didn't see it because I was having a bit of a rough time with this gun initially. Another big thing are the optics. They're extremely agile and sharp. It's very hard to hit things thanks to what seems to be a slight trigger delay, but if you can lead your shots, that won't be much of an issue for you either. Oftentimes, I feel like the gun is actually firing a sewing needle instead of a bullet because it gets harder and harder to hit things once they're outside of the 30-meter range. It's a tiny gripe, but annoying enough for me to throw it into this script. My original review for this gun was not so good. I wasn't happy with what I had been given, and I think I had a lot of negative things to say about it in the beginning, but after spending enough time with it, I realized that a lot of those same issues occur on almost every gun in the game, so needless to say, I went back and I rewrote a thing or two. The last thing that I think needs to be addressed here is that Devil's Ruin can become exceedingly more useful if you are using Mechanier's Trick Sleeves. You get a huge boost to reload speed, and you get a ×2 damage multiplier if you swap to your sidearm when you're critical. The only thing about it that really kind of sets it back is the fact that without the use of the Trick Sleeves, this gun is average in just about every single way. Overall, I can't necessarily recommend Devil's Ruin. I can, however, tell you that the more time I spent messing around with it, the more and more I began to enjoy it. That did come to a head after enough time, and there was a moment where I realized it wasn't really going to get any better, but it is worth playing around with for a little bit. And you know what? Maybe you'll find a use for it that I wasn't able to find originally. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I am still hard at work on new projects, and I have a new Titan build being uploaded this coming weekend, so keep your eyes open for that one. And lastly, stay sweet, you beautiful damn people, you. Jayboy out.